February 19th, 2021, the Wrestling Inc. podcast, Everybody is a Star, edition of SmackDown. Tonight, the go-home show before the Elimination Chamber. Oh, that finish, everybody got their stuff in. It was the greatest hits montage.
Everybody's a star.
I mean, right? Like the way they do that ending, where six-man tag, we have to have a winner, we have to have a loser, but let's see everyone's finisher, just for old time's sake.
I do, when I wrestled, I did like that in my matches. If there's like a 6-man or an 8-man, we did a pretty cool one in the Survivor Series I was in my rookie year. And you call it up, up, up when you're going over the match backstage at the end of the match. And it's just bicycle kick to, let's say, Kurt Angle. I turn around, I eat an F5 from Brock Lesnar. He turns around, eats an FU from John Cena. You know what I mean? It gets the fans up. But you want to be able to do it right as well, to be fair. God dang it. Sorry.
Yeah. I think this was a good SmackDown. Issa and I were talking before he came on, Matt, that better than Raw. But as I said, would you rather be hit in the stomach or punched in the face?
Yeah. Yes. I was just going to say, yeah, really. It's like being the world's tallest short person. I mean, really, you're really, bragging about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was solid, but go home for Elimination Chamber. I mean, so let's talk about the good versus the bad. Good. Edge got to interact with everyone tonight. I like that.
Me too.
Me too.
Made you feel like, we know Roman's going to retain, but if it didn't go that way, there were shades. Maybe we do get DB versus Edge at some point. Maybe we do get KO versus Edge at some point. That's good. Apollo, could they have foreshadowed that heel turn and attack anymore? But still good for him. This is new. This is different. This is intense. And perhaps the biggest swerve I saw today, and that includes the latest episode of WandaVision, is that Reginald the sommelier shifting alliances, perhaps.
I called that weeks ago, so.
Yes. So there was a lot to like. But that being said, are you pumped for Elimination Chamber on Sunday?
No, and here's the thing you need to remember. Elimination Chamber is a throwaway pay-per-view before WrestleMania. It's just a filler, and it's just to give you one more possibility of what maybe can happen at WrestleMania with certain matchups. At least over the years, that's how it's been booked. So I've always considered it a throwaway pay-per-view. But so that said, that's why I thought the show tonight was pretty good. Mm-hmm. For the reason you just said with Edge earlier. And if there was fans,
especially with Elimination Chamber is the last one on the network before they go to Peacock, so they're not going to put a lot of effort.
I was just going to say, Issa, if there was fans in the arena tonight, what they did with Edge, you'd consider it's kind of like a heat check in the NBA. When you see Stephen Curry pull up from half court, like out of nowhere, that's him just heat checking to see if his 3-pointer's on tonight or not, right? That's what they do in wrestling every once in a while with a big star like Edge. And Vince wants to see and do like this Coke Pepsi taste test, if you will, to see how the fans respond to seeing that matchup. Remember that one year when it was like Nakamura and AJ in the middle of the Rumble there for like a second there? Was it a ladder match maybe?
The Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah, that's an example of a heat check to see what are the fans going to do. So that's why I was pissed. I loved they did it tonight, but I'm like, the fans weren't there live to give us what we know would have been pandemonium when he did it with DB.
Yes.
And some of the others.
I feel like we still don't talk about this enough, that we are living, speaking of WandaVision, in Vince's dream scenario. He gets to completely manipulate and set up, this is how the fans react to this superstar. This is how they boo this superstar. This is how they cheer this one. This is like Vince's warped mind.
This is his wet dream come true. It is. It is.
Absolutely. Brett Murphy, $5 super chat. Thank you. Saying, I think I'm on the Issa train. You've got a train. Jay wins. Oh, with the school. I thought Jay wins. Roman's music hits, bell rings. Jay wins down. I don't read these all the time in full before I start reading them aloud. And then I am surprised the direction they go in.
Me too. I thought for sure there was going to be some inappropriateness in the second sentence, and I thought we're going to.
No. I've been calling for Jey Uso to just lay down for Roman, win the chamber, and just lay down for Roman, just for fun factor. So, yeah.
So tonight we opened the show. We opened the show with Edge coming out to the ring, Greg Hamilton doing the introduction, and Edge setting up saying there are 13 potential opponents he could pick for WrestleMania. I think we all know the one that he's picking, though. And he was interrupted by him, Universal Champion Roman Reigns, who came out with Paul Heyman and Jey Uso. And this is just setting things up for the match. Now, of course, in the Elimination Chamber on Sunday, the SmackDown one, the winner of that will immediately face Roman Reigns for a championship opportunity.
I love Sami Zayn, actually. You forgot to mention Sami Zayn in that opening segment, which I thought he was brilliant up to the point where he got super kicked by Jey Uso. And Jey Uso just automatically went right back into position, like nothing even happened. I love that whole interaction. I just think that Edge is just milking it. You know what I mean? And I love everything else that they did with him after the opening segment, but you're just going to come out to tell us for the 5th time that you haven't decided yet. That's great.
And giving other talents that the rub. But you also got to be careful not to do too many, because then it's not going to mean as much eventually. We're not there yet. He's still new. He's still back. It's still new in general. I just can't wait for him and Roman. That's going to be such an amazing match at Mania. Yeah,
I think it's going to be great. But yeah, it's hard to suspend disbelief. Like this is going in any other direction. Maybe it is. Maybe there's
because wrestling is in a different place right now, and most of the fans are smart to it, right? I don't think that's what they don't expect us to think he's going to go in another direction. I think they know we're smarter than that. So I think they expect us to suspend our disbelief in the other format of, oh, cool, he just gave Sami Zayn a rub, or cool, he gave Daniel Bryan a rub. I like that. We're Daniel Bryan fans. That's cool. The more that I would argue, then there's no way on God's green earth they can expect us to believe that they're going to wrestle, that he's going to wrestle anybody else other than Roman. There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, like Edge versus Drew.
No, forget even Drew. What about what's his name from NXT? Like even that.
Yeah.
I never thought that he would pick Finn Balor. I did think for a short period of time that he could pick Drew McIntyre, just because the WWE Championship is the title that he had to relinquish. If you go based on his, old school storyline when he had to retire, I thought there would be some slight chance there, but no, that's not the match we want to see.
Well, and the contract Edge is on isn't that I'm going to come in, be champion, hold it down, and do TV every week. It's that seasonally I will come back. I will do a storyline, an angle, a match, and then disappear.
Yep, it's the biggest money match available to him. It's the biggest matchup he could possibly pick. So it's going to happen.
Jody Shauna Jenkins, Canadian $5. Good to see you, Jody. Yes, Jody is the one who's interacting.
And Sean.
And well, it's not. They're sitting there together, both watching the Wrestling Inc. podcast.
What would you do if it was 3? What would you do if Jenkins was a third party?
I would say, what lack of trust is there in this 3-way relationship that you all need the same YouTube account?
We've been dissing this Jenkins person this entire time by not giving them their proper due.
It's true. And when you sign up for YouTube Red or YouTube Premium, which I still have from the Cobra Kai days on YouTube, they let you make 5 accounts. So this is really, they're dedicated to this throuple, as it were. Jody Shauna, I love Matt, by the way, the Jody Shauna Jenkins. We shit on the couple profile thing and poke fun at that every week, and they still super chat, they still participate, and thank you for being such good sports. Saying, I really like the Apollo work. I'm interested. I know this wouldn't happen, but I'm all in on Cruz showing up and laying a beat down on Reigns. Well, I mean,
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
but I love his heel turn, though. I do love it. I believe in it. I believe in him that he's believing in it, which is really a great sign, because he screams babyface otherwise. And he's, again, I always make this argument, it's going to be great for his career. He'll be a better babyface after this heel run because of it.
Yeah, I think tonight there is a lot of potential. There is a lot to they can do with this, and it's long overdue. I think Apollo should have been heel quite some time ago. Before we get into this, Brian Cyrus, $2, saying, whatever happened to Bam Neely? Is he still around? I haven't.
Is that a real question? Yeah, I can't. What are you, Bam Neely's brother-in-law? Like, do you remember? Okay, Glenn, do you remember Bam Neely? Go ahead. Who was
I had to Google it.
No. All right. You probably remember who he is, right?
No.
So he was the 6'8" bodyguard of Chavo Guerrero when ECW came out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do know who that is.
So he was kind of his claim to fame is he could technically say he was part of that. What would they call themselves with Edge, Vicky, Chavo, and then the Edgeheads? What were they called? I forget what they were called. La Familia, something like that.
Got it.
It was on ECW though, guys. It was mainly on ECW and SmackDown. So yeah, nobody knows, nobody cares. No offense.
Pranisha, $2, saying I'm excited to see Apollo and Heyman tomorrow on Talking Smack. That should be good. Got to kick up the energy here, folks. It's Friday night. We're all tired. We were talking before the podcast. Matt, how are you sleeping lately? Issa and I both were talking about our sleep woes. How are you doing?
So you thought on a tough night it'd be a good idea to start diverting into side conversations instead of getting into the
just got to get amped. I just want to go through the motions. I don't want to sit here and
I want to get through it so we could talk normal and not have it loom over our heads.
Next up, here we go. It'll be like I'm doing a book report. Next up, we had Apollo Crews versus Shinsuke Nakamura. We go back to the ring, and out comes Big E to a pop. No. Big E at ringside was very entertaining, as always. That's the challenge, though. Apollo versus Shinsuke was great. It's a good thing that Apollo attacked Big E and drew attention away, because the problem is you put someone like Big E out there, and he wasn't doing the play-by-play necessarily, but he was diverting attention. All eyes on him.
Issa, what'd you think?
He did do a good job at putting over his opponent, especially Shinsuke Nakamura. He really talked up Shinsuke Nakamura, and as a Shinsuke Nakamura fan, I really appreciated everything that he said about him. I loved how they used the not having fans there to suspend the disbelief when Apollo threw the steel steps onto Big E, who was laying on the ground. I actually really appreciated that. Them taking advantage of the non-fan era to do something cool.
Yeah. This is good.
Stellar Justin Lopez saying it was La Familia.
Thanks, Joseph.
So Nakamura got a surprise win. Apollo snapped, started beating up Nakamura. Big E got in there. Started beating up Big E, dropped the stairs on Big E, as Issa mentioned. The intensity was great. I think they've really built this well. But do you think that Apollo almost has to move on from Big E right away to make this really have legs? Because if it's a feud between the two, I don't think Apollo is going to come out triumphant in that. He needs to win this feud after the heel turn, or else it's just back to mediocrity and the undercard.
Really, Glenn? Do you know how many people have turned heel and they've done nothing with them?
Yes, I know that's what happens, but I'm saying we need to make it worthwhile, Something good.
Listen, I was more concerned about why it took 15 minutes for them to get Big E onto an ambulance. How big is this Thunderdome that they were still rolling him around 10 minutes after the whole thing happened?
Well, you need to make sure that you're not going to, jolt something. You have to stabilize them. It's an intensive process.
Tropicana Field is known for not being the greatest place on earth. So.
Jody Sean Jenkins, Canadian $5, saying totally off topic, but I've been watching Impact, and my word, in my opinion, it's so bad. Matt, I'm sure you have explained this, but what went wrong? I mean,
I have been watching Impact, and my word, I don't know. As much as people like to give Dixie Carter a bad time and say all these mistakes that she's made, there's never been a better era of TNA/Impact than during her run, her ownership of that company. Ratings wise, superstar wise, we had a more. You could compare our show at one time to SmackDown when Jack Swagger was a champion on SmackDown. We had a better roster. Swear to God's my witness. You had AJ Joe, Chris Daniels, Pure Money, Nick Aldis, myself on this level, like right here. Then you had on this level the Kevin Nashes, the Stings, the Steiners, the Booker T's, Ric Flair, Jeff Hardy, RVD. Hulk Hogan. Like, are you shitting me? Like, as far as talent goes, it was ridiculous. Company should still be around in its former connotation. It really should. But it is what it is, and they're where they're at today, and I hope the best for them. But it is a completely different company. That is not the company I wrestled at. Yeah.
I mean, I forget they're still in business, except when they do have moments, right, where people get talking, but
and I try to keep up with them on Instagram, things like that, and make positive comments here and there when I see stuff, just because you feel like you should, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, big drop. It sucks.
We're going to talk about Seth Rollins in a moment, but hey, want to welcome back a sponsor of the Wrestling Inc. podcast, Keeps. 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time they are 35, and more than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss, and Keeps offers both. How do they do it? Well, Keeps offers a simple, stress-free way to keep your hair. They have convenient virtual doctor consultations and medications delivered straight to your door every 3 months, so you don't have to leave your home, which is fantastic. Even if we're not in the situation we're in now, it's convenient. It's nice. It comes to you. And it's low cost. Treatment started just $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions, which is, good. You're saving money to boot. Discreet packaging, proven results. They've got more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. And prevention is key. Treatments can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so you have to act fast. If this starts happening, take the reins. Get a hold of it. If you want to take action, prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com. That's KEEPS.com/INC to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's KEEPS.com/INC to get your first month free. Keeps.com/INC. Hey, and we thank them for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Again, if you have issues, if it runs in your family, if you're concerned about this, if you start noticing things, get on it and get that first month free. Keeps.com/INC. We thank Keeps for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast. So, I think about this a lot. I worry about losing my hair. I have dreams about it.
Does it run in your family, Glenn?
A little bit of bald spot does, but I think about that though. And I think for some reason, like that's one of my recurring dreams is like losing my hair, which is funny considering how often I shave my head, but I know it'll grow back, but I'm always worried one day it won't. One day I'm going to just, shave my head and then it never grows back.
Just don't put Gorilla Glue on it. You'll be fine. Exactly.
So Glenn, I'm on to you. It's kind of like your T-shirt gimmick we're talking about on the Stereo app the other night, where you're setting the table. So one day, if it ever did happen, you'd be like, well, look, everybody's already used to me with a bald head. Really, what's the big deal? I've been doing it for years.
There are theories about that. I mean, that's why some guys do it, right? I mean, some guys that shave their head.
I would shave my head tomorrow, but I know I can't. Like, I'm intimidating enough as it is. My wife, you want to hear you want to hear some real bleep here? My wife, before my first day on campus, I just transferred over from Monmouth University to school, or college out there called Chaminade out of Honolulu, Hawaii. Right, I was there to play basketball. She played softball. So we were there early on campus because we were athletes, getting our housing set up. And before she even met me, she's like, "Oh yeah, I heard all these things about you. You're this, you're that, blah blah blah." She tells me this like a couple years later. But you know what she said? She goes, "You looked like a white supremacist." And I was like, "What?" And she goes, "Matt, you're 7 foot tall. You always had a grumpy look on your face. You're always angry. You had tattoos, and you're really big and bald." I'm like, "That's the marker?" I go, "That's the marker that we're using?"
It is true. They've really ruined the bald look for everyone.
Oh, skinhead. I think that's exactly how she put it. And I'm like, geez. So like that's always been in the back of my head. And I immediately, when she told me this, I started growing my hair back. And I was like, I can't go back to that look ever again. Even when I was in wrestling, I wanted to do it because I thought it would look, because I thought I looked better with a bald head than with frigging 98 degrees Nick Lachey haircut.
Which I don't know. It seems like it's worked out pretty well for you. You kept it going for 25 years.
That I've still got going here. So, but like, you know what I mean? That I'd be way more intimidating looking, and in this role, I definitely cannot be.
I agree. I mean,
trust me, I would shave it tomorrow. It looks better.
This isn't in the copy, but let me just say, so for Keeps, this is why you got to get ahead, because one, you could lose your hair and you could look like an angry white supremacist, which Matt pointed out. Not a good look. And don't try and be the guy to be like, in England, skinheads are against racism and they're really into ska and reggae music. Like, we know that, but that's not what people are going to think. They're going to see someone be like, white supremacist, not like, oh, he must be really into ska. No, 2, for every Michael Jordan who looks great with the shaved head, there's a Michael Chiklis who like looks like George Costanza-ish, and nobody wants that. It's very dicey.
She would look weird with hair, though.
Chiklis? No, in the commish, she had hair back in the day.
He did.
Yeah,
you're right. He did.
Like keeps.com/INC. Hook that up. Prevent it. Get on top of it. Keep your hair. It's the weirdest night on this podcast in quite some time. Stellar Justin Lopez, $4.99. This is all going to lead to like a 6-man ladder match at Mania with Big E, Apollo, Sammy Nakamura, and probably 2 more people.
The only thing I don't like about that, though, Justin, thanks for writing in again, is I don't think Big E needs to be in a ladder match. He needs to be in a feature. I would much rather see him in a featured match. I mean, for him to do a couple spots and share it, because that's what every ladder match is at Mania. It's the pop of the night to the biggest, craziest, sickest bump that gets taken in that match versus who actually wins the match. And I want Apollo in a featured situation. Not Apollo, I'm sorry, Big E, I'm sorry.
I did like that one. I mean, I was there in Dallas, so maybe a little prisoner of the moment. But when Zack Ryder won, and then KO, and
they told a good story.
That match was amazing.
That was a great story they told, where the winner did meant more than the spots.
Yes. Mm-hmm. George Devine continuing Bam Neely Appreciation Night on the Wrestling Inc. podcast, saying, I remember Bam Neely from Edge's La Familia days. LOL. He was Shava's bodyguard and always get involved in Edge's feud with Taker.
Thank you for repeating was everything I just said, George. Just have it apart with Taker. I should have said that part. Good call.
Jackson Callens, $4.99, asking the real questions. Issa, Cobra Kai, what's the status?
Anyway. I watched the whole thing.
Oh,
I could not stop once I started. It's so good. I loved it.
It is. Now you really watched it. This isn't like Matt and the Mandalorian, like you actually.
No, I watched all 3 freaking.
Let's ask some trivia questions, Glenn.
I don't need to grill her. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but
I watched it.
I'm very excited for where it goes from here. The reunion in the last 2 episodes, Elizabeth Shue. We have talked about our love of Elizabeth Shue on this podcast many a time, and it was nice to see her again. She's aging very well.
No, we start to do it, and then Raj frigging big dogs the conversation into his weird happenstance of meeting her. I don't even remember what it was. I just know he's told it to us 3 times.
Yeah, he talked to her brother once about an ad thing, and he tells us every time like we're going to be impressed, and like we've. I think the last time we actually cut him off and finished the story for him
because it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go like he had a crush on her when he was little. It doesn't like go anywhere where we're talking about it.
It's true. But it's true. So Jackson also saying, anyways, Jay's in a good spot, but man, that kid is good all around. Look at in-ring, body language, believable.
Yes.
Agreed. Nightmare Knee, $5, saying, screw SmackDown, it was boring. IMBO. What's that mean?
What does that mean, Isa?
I don't know.
Laughing my butt off?
It's an L. Can you explain why my messages aren't coming through on stereo? Well, because I moderate the messages on stereo, and sometimes I don't get to all of them. Do you know? Let's talk about this.
It's hard.
Let's give a little plug for stereo right now, and our after show, as it were, that we are doing every Monday night at stereo.com/Glenn Rubenstein, stereo.com/Matt Morgan, right when we finish up the show here, and of course, Stereo.com NYC Demon Diva, Issa doing stereo content now as well. Stereo is a sponsor of the Wrestling Inc. podcast. And if you ever scream your opinions at us, or you have questions or things you want to know, Stereo gives you a chance to interact with us live. We do exclusively the after show, as it were, every Monday night on Stereo, right when we finish the Wrestling Inc. podcast. And you steer the show. You get to ask questions. We get inundated with them. Matt, I think we had 300 questions this past Monday. I think we got to about 60 of them on the air. I'm listening to them, and I'll just give this guide if people want their questions answered. We want to get through more of them. If you could please keep them like 15 to 30 seconds, because that way they're easy to moderate. They're easy to play. It's good. And you guys are asking really good stuff. We got a lot of different directions that it's going in, and Stereo is the app for live social conversation where you can host your own show, be a part of someone else's, or simply just listen. They've got thousands of live social conversations with a wide range of genres for every interest, including news, comedy, sports, and more. And again, you could choose participate or just sit back. And you can also listen on demand. So if you want to listen to the after show, as it were, all past episodes, download the Stereo app for iOS or Android. And when you get on there, follow Glenn Rubenstein, follow Matt Morgan, follow NYC Demon Diva to check out her content. And you can go and listen to it just like you would a podcast, but it's exclusive to Stereo. And if you're around on Monday nights or you want to get notified, when you follow us on there, you'll get notified when we go live other times throughout the week, so you could pop in and participate. And Stereo's where we have uncensored opinions and exclusive content. And Matt, oh my God, Monday night, Matt Morgan and I are going to throw down on Stereo after this podcast. Matt said something last week, and it was the most ignorant, ill-informed, just pretentious, dismissive statement that I take more issue with than anything else has ever said. And Monday night on Stereo, I'm going to confront him about this, and we're going to have it out. So tune into that live for our live uncensored opinions. The Blueprint Matt Morgan versus Glenn Rubenstein. Having it out. I'm airing my grievances Monday on Stereo.
This is like Edge picking Roman Reigns. You're gonna lose, right, Glenn? Like, I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm coming with facts. I've been researching. I've got citations. It's gonna be good time. So again, stereo.com/Glenn Rubenstein, stereo.com/Matt Morgan for the confrontation Monday night on Stereo. Okay, maybe I'm overselling this too much. It's gonna be like 30 seconds, and Matt's gonna be move on next. Nobody wants to talk about this. Anyhow, stereo.com. We thank them for sponsoring the podcast. Daniel Brooks, $2.99, saying here for Issa. That's nice.
Hello.
Thank you.
Oh, you'll give him a follow back for that, right?
Of course.
Mike Morgan, $5, saying that comment had to have been Pam Neely himself. That had been the most random mention of a wrestler on this podcast. I had to look him up. Oh, well.
He did have a look. He was 6'8", almost 300 pounds. Did have a decent look, but yeah, I kind of agree with you, Mike.
Bam Neely is going to be our guest Monday night on Stereo after the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Should get him on the Wink Daily. The resurgence of Bam Neely. The Neelisance. Wolfbane, $2. Issa, how did you get into wrestling?
I used to go to Lucha Libre shows in Puerto Rico with my dad. We used to go and watch Carlitos Colon against Invader, and not the kind of WWF that everybody got started with. And then we got cable because, I grew up in the island. I didn't have cable all the time. So I got into wrestling later on, though. Like WWE, WWF. When I originally fell in love with wrestling, I'm talking like WWWC in Puerto Rico, which Matt probably knows what I'm talking about because he wrestled out there.
Well, yeah, World Wrestling Council. And Carlito Colon's father, or Carlos Colon's company. Let me ask you a question, Issa, real quick. What about IWA? Were they always kind of a big deal there, or no?
Not when I was growing up, right? Carlos Colon kind of runs the island when it comes to wrestling, but they will get some good attendance on their show. I just wish they would have put more money into their marketing, because every local TV station always advertised for Carlos Colon's federation, to where IWA you have to kind of like be more of an insider to kind of know about it. But if you went to a show, they were always packed. They just had smaller arenas.
So was it around before Sabio Vega came back to the islands? Like, was it a company before Sabio took it?
Okay. It was, but a lot of, like I said, not a lot of people knew about it because Carlos Colon is like the mob boss of wrestling in Puerto Rico. huge deal. Yeah, man, you're right. That's cool. You got to see that and grow up on that. Oh, I did. I remember the first match I ever saw. It was like Abdullah the Butcher is like putting the barbed wire on Carlos Colon's forehead. I'm like 5, and I'm like, "This is cool, Dad." And my dad is like, "I know," and the rest is history.
That's awesome. That's some serious street cred, because, folks, in Puerto Rico, the wrestling fans, just to put it in perspective, faces that can't go hang out with each other, heels cannot go out to dinner or lunch with each other. You can't go into the weight room together and work out like you see nowadays. Nowadays, it actually may have changed. I'm not sure, but at least as of, I'd say 2009, 2009, 2010, I wasn't allowed to do that. Carlos had a deal where, look, it's different here. You can't be going out with my son and blah, blah, blah to go eat. Like, you guys are best friends. We get it. But here, can't do it. He goes, you're here to be my monster heel. He's obviously a babyface.
And they will book different hotels. They will book different hotels for everybody. Every time they will bring somebody from the US to wrestle somebody else, they will put them in different hotels. It was fun how long they were able to keep the kayfabe. It's not the same anymore. It's not, sadly, but we got it for a little bit longer than people did up here.
Yeah.
Robert Sadoff, continuing tonight's theme, saying, I don't think Bam Neely ever won a match.
Guys, come on. What happens if Van Neal really tunes in? This isn't nice.
Nightmare Knee, $5 saying, just want to let you guys know that your comedy is the cure for depression.
That's
to hear.
Not the cause.
Okay. Oh, someone saying IMBO is not laughing my butt off. It's in my boring opinion.
Oh, I know IMO.
Never heard that.
Yeah. Whatever, it works. So, good Lord, people are really talking about Bam kneeling in the chat, but I know this is all fascinating, but more fascinating tonight was Seth Rollins in the letter that he wrote to WWE management. Why are they doing this to him? Why are they bringing him back? And he's coming across like bootleg Sami Zayn. Like, this is bad. This is really bad.
I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer why they didn't press the reset button on him while he was gone. And what also bothered me about this, not bothered me, but disappointed me, he just went through, and I'm not, I sound like Sam. I'm gonna have a Sam moment here for a second and put myself over for hanging out with some of these people, right? That's what Sam always did. But the minute I heard Becky was pregnant, right, I wrote both of them. And I wrote this long dissertation on how their galaxy is going to just be rocked. It's going to be completely different. You'll never look through your eyes in the lens of this world ever the same again. It's just impossible to do once you become a dad or a mom. And what he wrote back, I was really impressed with. And as a young man about to be a dad, not even be a dad yet, and I'm going, what the fuck, WWE? Like, this is a real emotion that this man just went through, being a dad. Why are you not tapping into that as a baby face or what? Definitely baby face, and how to get this out of him. And if you want to do something different with him, that's it. I'm not saying be daddy daycare and the kindergarten cop, something corny like that. I'm saying have him go into that raw emotion and talk about it, and then from there, see what you guys want to do with him. But I would have gotten him on live television somehow, and I would have let him just open up and talk about what this means to his world. Because again, we're also talking about his counterpart here, Becky Lynch, who's incredibly popular, almost over woman generally speaking in that company at one point, at the highest point, right? Yeah. And I just think it was a missed opportunity. Any opportunity, I think, is a missed one. When something huge in someone's life happens and WWE does not take advantage of it and let them, whatever that something is, talk about it and see where that can go versus, oh, you know what we're going to do? We're going to bring him back and do the same old stupid shit that everybody was throwing tomatoes at before he left.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's giving me bad flashbacks of also when he had that injury and he came back from that injury at Extreme Rules and attacked Roman Reigns, and the pop in that arena, I was there, was insane. And then the next night they had him cut a heel promo, and it was just so horrible. I don't know why they keep doing this to Seth Rollins, because he's so talented and there is so much money on a feud with him as a face and Roman with the character that Roman is now, especially with the history that those two men have. That being said, his fashion the last 2 weeks has been so on point that I would at least give him that suit last week, all leather, and then tonight he came out dressed like that. Hey, listen, at least he got a new stylist.
I couldn't be caught.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
Those high water nut hugger pants that he's wearing last week, I wouldn't be caught dead in them. I don't know how he didn't split
all leather suit, man. That takes some balls to.
It definitely does, and it definitely gave him superstar flair. I just that's not somebody I'm scared of in a fist fight, though. That's for sure.
Because you're like 7 feet. I don't expect you to be scared of anybody.
You're giving the female perspective, I'm guessing, of he looked hot or he looked great.
Not hot.
No?
I like the outfit. Okay. Hot is Roman Reigns coming out of nowhere and spearing Edge when I wasn't expecting it. Now that's sexy.
I love the physicality part that you found hot. That's awesome. That's a true wrestling fan, folks. That's awesome. Tremendous.
Nightmare Knee is clarifying that it was laughing my butt off. This is the weirdest Wrestling Inc. podcast I have ever been a part of. John Cena's Paul Spot $5 saying Bam Neely has been mentioned more times tonight than his entire career. This is a chance of resurgence. LOL.
Please
Bam Neely
stop.
Appreciation Night. Who is
Please
Bam
stop.
Neely? I know. I feel bad.
Super chatter. Tell me. I'm going to write a super chat in a minute and say, read the next match, Glenn. I'm going to write a $20 super chat right now.
More than you make on this podcast.
Right?
The Riot Squad versus Natalya and Tamina Snuka. This was good. I like the coordinated move they did with the kicks with the Riot Squad. They look good. I mean, Tamina and Nia is kind of a makeshift tag team, but whatever. They got to win.
I like the idea of Natalya and Tamina getting together and just playing that underutilized veteran factor into a tag team. Right now, I feel like WWE is doing a good job of making the women's tag team division feel like a big deal again. Ever since NXT and the Dusty Cup ended, like that match for the women, I think the women's tag team division just looks a little bit better now.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I know Riot Squad feels like a more of a tag team. I get that. I just never been fans. I don't want to admit that that Liv Morgan is not a single star. I have a hard problem digesting this still. I don't like it. I don't think she got a fair shake at it. I get it, guys. She's not the first. She won't be the last that this has happened to.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I don't know. It's hard for me just to sit back and like, she's not a tag team wrestler. Let her be a damn star.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard
Right.
to sit there and watch it. That's all.
I mean, it's challenging for them to book a women's division when they have so many legit stars.
Right.
Why they need their own show?
I know. Because I don't feel that way about the men's lineup. I feel like even in the 6-man tag in the main event tonight, like 3 out of the 6 guys, yes. Which is good. But with the women's, no, this was great. And I liked Billy Kay coming out, trying to align with Tamina and Natalya. That was good.
Yeah.
Edge talked to Baron Corbin backstage. That was actually, that's probably the best Corbin's been in quite some time. What do you think, Matt, though, about the bragging about, the expensive suit, the expensive watch? I mean, I know Corbin is a man of fancy tastes and likes the finer things in life, but do you think that resonates still in the year 2021?
Of being a complete a-hole? Yes, absolutely it does.
Always.
Especially with people out of work. It's the dickiest time, I will argue, in history to be bragging like that, right? I mean, we don't know what other people got going on. I have to assume bad things because of where we're at with this stupid, freaking frustrating pandemic, right? So, I don't know. I always thought, as a fan, I hated that guy. I always hated the bragger that bragged about how the cars they drove, the clothes they wore. When I was too young to appreciate Ric Flair's heeldom, you know what I mean? I hated him because he bragged like that.
Yeah. But I think that what he was wearing tonight, and even the watch, like that didn't look super fancy. That would be like bragging about his car and like pulling up in a brand new Nissan Sentra.
Yeah.
You know,
then it shows he's tacky. Then,
yeah.
You know. But either way,
a lot of times the most expensive things look cheap. Haven't you ever walked into a designer store and you see everybody wearing their sweatpants and their sneakers are worth like $800 and you don't even realize it? Just saying.
You know mine are. I'm proud of my Jordans.
I still tell the story about the $100 Fat Farm velour powder blue tracksuit that I didn't buy at Burlington Coat Factory for $100 20 years ago. Bargain of my lifetime I missed out on. Some frugal
the only thing you and I disagree with at all, and it's just a tiny little hiccup in that, and it's just no Fat Farm, Sean John.
Yeah. They were the same. I mean, it was the same brand.
But this is at the time when we were complete label marks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They ordered it from the same warehouse in China, I'm sure. The same low cost.
Same. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just the Instagram. I'm sorry it didn't have Puffy's name written in there.
That's all that mattered, bro. That's all that mattered. The same with the Jordan emblem. Look what that's done still to this day.
True. It's crazy. Fernando Perez, Buck99, saying, growing up in Puerto Rico, IWA was way better than WWC, in my opinion.
It was. It was. Their cards were good.
Wolfbane, $3, saying, I remember watching WWC on the UHF channel in New York. Cool.
Yeah.
Jody Shaw Jenkins saying just dreaming, but Cruz plus Cage plus Lashley money.
Hang on, slow down. Let me read this. Cruz. Brian Cage. She likes Brian Cage. Plus Lashley. Is this in a 3-way? Are we talking about a stable? Probably a stable. I'm guessing she means by that because she brought that up during AEW, getting him a different stable because the one he's in is friggin' takes away from him. Although this week he looked good.
So Bailey on Ding Dong Hello tonight, her show had Nia and Shayna. Out came Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, and Reginald. Reginald's allegiance to Sasha was interesting, and this mixed gender tag was good. But what do you think about them pairing Sasha and Bianca if they're going to be WrestleMania opponents? I mean, they seem pretty darn chummy tonight.
I think then we're stuck with two babies, baby versus baby. Yeah. Instead of doing, unless we get Sasha just to turn on her. Even though she's the champion, I don't know. I think
Sasha has to be a little more heelish in this feud than Bianca. Bianca has to stay babyface. But I they're both be babyface, and Sasha's just going to be a little more of an asshole than Bianca, But I don't know. I love Bailey in this segment, to be honest with you. I love that she got mad that Reginald didn't use the door to come into the show. I thought Bailey was incredible. I really love everything that she's been doing since this whole empty arena era. She's so entertaining.
She is.
Yeah, she's a high point of TV each and every week. This segment was fantastic. I think there was a lot of good interplay between everyone involved, and Reginald got the pin on Nia Jax. It's interesting. And then, of course, after we had saw Carmella getting into it with Reginald, so look for that to break. Maybe Sasha versus Carmella, one more match for custody of Reginald the Sommelier.
No.
Gary Paradise, $1.99, saying Cole, Cruz, Gable, Otis, 4 heel turns. Yikes.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio versus Chad Gable and Otis is a match that actually happened here in the year 2021.
What do you mean?
Why?
Well, I mean, because you think about Rey Mysterio and Dominic's getting in wrestling too. Rey's back. Now we got Dominic. They're going to wrestle Chad Gable. Who's his tag partner? Otis. This was just weird.
Like, what are you saying that you don't think, like, I'm missing the mark here on what you mean?
No, I'm just saying that there didn't seem like to be a lot of rhyme or reason to this, and like it just seemed random. If I would have said even 6 months to you.
Yeah, okay, random, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if I would have said 6 months to you, this match was going to happen, you're going to be like, what kind of weird, twisted war? I mean,
in a throwaway match, I'd be like, okay, I can see that. They're struggling to get a match on TV for whatever rhyme or reason. They want to get Rey out there one more time for whatever rhyme or reason. It's just Rey and his kid versus whoever is how they look at it, I would imagine.
Yeah. That's
they disrupted their tag team division. There's no such thing as a tag team division. So now you're left with all these made-up matches because they don't have tag teams.
And DQ'd for not listening to the ref. So Rey and Dominic won, but after Gable noticed not done, ignored the referee and beating up Rey after. Fans booing Otis. Think just 6 months ago they were cheering him in his lovable antics, keeping a ham sandwich in his Money in the Bank briefcase. That's not kosher, but they overlooked it because he's a charming guy.
Fine. It's charming. Yeah, I no offense to the guy, for me, he jumped the shark on week 3 of his Mandy Rose storyline. That's me by myself as a fan, by myself, by the things that I like about pro wrestling. Not everybody else. I'm not speaking for everybody.
Well, speaking of which, Alan Jones, $2 says, who's today's version of Bam Neely? Maybe Tucker.
Or is it the guy pretending to be AJ Styles but using his shoot name here in this super chat? Cool. I don't know. That's the answer you get for keep talking about Bam Neely.
I'm putting that in the title of the show tonight. Bam Neely Appreciation Night. Jason McKay, $10. So does Reginald have more pins than Liv Morgan and Peyton Royce this year? Is he getting a women's title shot? Will Hogan come back and put this kid over? I mean, good for Reginald. I like Reginald. I think Reginald's very charming. I think this is very unique, the situation he's in. It's good TV. The Sommelier seemed like the dumbest character ever when they introduced it, but he's making it work. More power to him.
Yeah. I'm sure there's. I don't want to get in the can of worms of it, but again, that's a slot that another woman should be taking. No offense to the guy.
I agree with that. Although, when you look at it in a weird way, they're saying he's so over. Let's put him with Sasha. Like poor Carmella, that she can't even keep the sommelier because
that sucks for her. Because I thought she has done a good job since coming back, actually. Yeah. They rushed it too quickly by throwing her to Sasha.
They put her in a title match way too fast. They should have let her build up that new character because she was money. No pun intended.
She looks different. Her music is awesome. The look is different, like I said, slightly, and her wrestling's improved. Like, this is their fault. They hit the fast forward button on this way too quick with her.
Yep.
I could see her feuding with Bayley going forward. I think that would be a really good.
Dude, anything Bayley touches right now is gold. I mean, literally anything.
And where's Rhea Ripley? Is she showing up Sunday? Like, what's going on with her? Is she gonna be there Monday? What's going on? What's happening with that?
I'm okay with them not using her if they're not going to do anything right by her.
Yeah.
They're going to be very careful with her because of what they did to her last year, man.
And then love that Daniel Bryan and Edge promo backstage tonight. That was fantastic.
Yes.
So good. The fans would have went bonkers if that was at an arena.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 6-man tag that main event tonight's show: Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, Jey Uso versus Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, and Kevin Owens.
I was cool with all this, but Corbin being in it. No offense to him. I just, man.
And Edge on commentary.
That was cool. I just, again, I don't like. What'd you think, Isa? Do you think that like kind of not cheapens Roman and his storyline and whatnot, but like, I don't like when they put someone like that with not underneath talent, but like talent that's just stale and not hitting at the moment. And then the argument's going to be, well, cool, then Roman can help bring that guy up, right, to his level. Is the argument, and that's what the rub is called. But I don't know.
I enjoyed the interaction that Edge had backstage with some of the guys, and I enjoyed him on commentary. At the end of the night, first of all, I don't know what was going on with Cesaro and his swing on Corbin before we even move on. It was a weird spot where he was trying to do the swing on Baron Corbin and missed it. And that is so weird to see from Cesaro that it completely threw me out of what was going on. At the end of the day, my favorite part was Roman Reigns spearing Edge, which is what we're building towards, and it makes all these other guys just look like, why are we here? Also, I was very sad because there was a little bit of an interaction between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens did not stunner Sami Zayn last week, but Sami Zayn didn't care. He went for Kevin Owens this week. So I like seeing Edge. I just feel like if we're gonna milk him not picking who his opponent is, then maybe let's just get Elimination Chamber out of the way and bring him back. But I thought they did good use of it tonight.
Yeah. I mean, if it's TV ratings, right, that they're going for, which they are, to put Edge on the show is not going to hurt them.
Right.
But does it weaken it a little bit slightly to build to his match at Mania versus Roman?
Yeah.
Hopefully we get through this quickly and just get there already.
Because I think, but again, we talk about this. This is the problem. Fans fantasy book themselves into a corner. Like, oh, Christian's going to be back. Edge and Christian are going to do something. They're going to get involved in it. Christian's going to get attacked. I mean, we still have Fastlane, but this is, I'm not excited.
Wait, what? Time out. What?
Well, we have Fastlane coming up in 3 weeks.
Yeah, there's another pay-per-view before Mania.
Come on. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, this is why I don't want Rhea Ripley out yet. Like Matt said, if you're gonna use her for a filler, then keep her away until it's time for Mania. But yeah, there is one more pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So
I am going to assume that the person that Edge picks is not fighting at Fastlane, right? Like whoever the Royal Rumble winners pick should not fight at Fastlane, and let's do number one contenders for the titles that are not selected at Fastlane.
Yeah, we shall see. So Daniel Bryan got Sami Zayn to tap out, but then everybody hit their finisher, all 6 men, and then Edge came in and hit a finisher, and then Roman came out of nowhere and hit it, speared Edge. So
it was beautiful.
So do you see how that paints that picture, though? The big dog standing on top of the mountain. Everyone looked big and badass, hitting their finishers one by one by one by one, and the exclamation mark was Roman. That's why you do those ups to get to the final one, mainly. And it meant more. It did. That was an exclamation mark on the show.
Yeah.
That spear was fucking badass.
It was an exciting ending. I just think 6-man tags.
Oh, yeah. I concur wholeheartedly with you on that. Yes. They're a little lazy. It's a way to get everybody out there and advance the storylines against. Well, I don't get why Corbin, is out there, but whatever.
I feel so bad. Like I feel like with Baron Corbin, we like Baron Corbin. I think we like Baron Corbin, but we seem to critique Baron Corbin a lot on this podcast.
Oh, we definitely do. It does. I agree with you.
Do you send him like emails?
We did give him props. No, direct messages on IG or not to him.
You don't say like, bro, get rid of the skullet, looking skinny fat.
No, I don't know him. No.
Listen, at least they told the story in a better way than Raw, because that gauntlet match going over an hour to finish Monday Night Raw was dreadful. Here, they did it in a shorter period of time, and they told a better story at the end of the day.
George Devine, $5, saying WWE should do one of those "Where Are They Now" things that they do on former superstars on Bam Neely.
Well, I mean, why not? They do it on other people that you're like, who? They've done that. I don't like saying it. One of my good friends is Mordecai, actually, Kevin Fertig, who played that character. People can say the same funny, smart-assy joke about that, too.
People remember Mordecai, though. I mean,
I hope so, because that was a pretty cool gimmick that they did give him.
Yeah.
They just didn't follow through on it.
No, I think that was the randomness of it, as you're pointing out. It's not that, I mean, look, being in the WWE is an accomplishment in and of itself. Yes. I don't care who you are. That's great. Yes. But your initial reaction, and Issa, are like, who the F is Bam Neely? Like, it's just rare when someone is in that, like, class where you just can't even put a face to the name.
You know what's going to happen when I can't sleep tonight? I'm going to get on YouTube and search Bam Neely, and like it's going to show up on my recommended now because it's going to bother me.
You'll remember it when you see it. I mean, he didn't wrestle matches. He just was a bodyguard mainly.
Got it. Jackson Callens, $4.99, saying, okay, so if Edge doesn't pick Reigns, which I'd prefer.
Stop.
Who? I want NXT. Edge can bring a lot. Edge versus Cole, Balor, ratings, a long-term place for him.
Wait, time out. A long-term place for who? Edge, this the young whippersnapper? Come on, Jax. No. No. Jax, here's why, brother, because he's there, like Glenn said, he's there seasonally. He's there to wrestle these big matches, especially him. He's there to have these big matches, but he's very giving in that Daniel Bryan type of way that he wants to get many other talents over and help get them to that level. But let me be very clear. We all know this. It's going to start with Roman, and then it'll go from there. He'll lose. He'll go away from TV, hopefully selling the whipping that Roman puts on him. And then whenever he comes back and works whomever. I'd like to see him work AJ, quite frankly. I'd like to see him work
Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan tonight. That could be a SummerSlam big match for them.
Mm-hmm. Or Joe, like freaking A. Why is Joe still not wrestling? What the hell?
I'm pretty sure there's something going on there.
I don't get it, man.
It's probably not medically cleared. Terry Allen Jr., $5.20, saying, a report from Dave Meltzer that the Murphy and Aaliyah story is over, you think? Feudal from the start because the story was lame and Murphy's underrated. I mean, they haven't, not since, November, October of last year, even?
I don't remember anything. Yeah, you're right. I don't miss it. I don't even remember until you just said it.
Maybe they ran off together. Maybe that's the story.
There you
go. Jacoby Wright, $2.99. What are y'all's top 5 Marvel superheroes and powers? We talked about this on Stereo a couple weeks ago.
Listen, I love
Not
Iron Man.
participating. I can't. Look, we did this already. Flying for certain is my number one. Superhuman, no. Can I get all Supermans in one? Will that count as one? So like I could like blow cold air and like freeze a gasoline tank like Superman did in the movie?
Oh, you could go
along with flying.
Yeah.
Superhuman strength, run faster than anybody else, fly. Did I say fly? And fly. There we go. Those are my 5. Glenn, go.
But you're also like a Wolverine and Punisher mark though, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Throw those in there then. Those are my 5.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I like Captain Marvel. I like Iron Man, Captain America. I mean, as far as superpowers go, I just want to be able to teleport. I'll be happy with just that. Honestly.
Yeah. Nightcrawler, I always thought was pretty badass as a kid. All the X-Men, that era of X-Men was my favorite growing up.
Glenn says for your favorite superpower, you want to have X-ray vision.
No, I want immortality.
Oh, I thought you said X-ray. Oh.
No, and you were like, "Oh, you'll get old, people you love, and your friends will die." And I said, "I'll make new friends. I'll learn to love again."
I do remember this conversation. This was a long time ago. Glad we had this before the stereo question. Actually, this was a long time ago. I do remember it now.
Yeah, but no, I'm good with immortality. I'll make it work.
You're gonna watch wrestling forever?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like maybe this is hell. Maybe this is purgatory I'm in.
Don't you think that would be sad though? Like watching everybody die that you love, and like you don't really have anybody left after a while. Eight centuries in a row.
I mean, if I'm immortal, and as long as like, I mean, if I could just freeze the age that I'm at now, like, I'll meet new people. You know,
will you be a vampire or just immortal?
Just immortal. No, I don't want to. I'm vegan. That would be weird. I don't know how I'd pull that off as a vegan vampire. It'd be very, very strange.
Oh, it'd be hilarious. It's a comedy. That actually,
that's a comic book right
or
there.
Or it should be.
Yes, there
that
you
should
go.
Be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So.
Oh my God!
What
the? Like your reaction?
Are you okay?
Oh yeah,
that would be hilarious.
So Mike Morgan, and any relation to Matt? $5. Matt, did you ever have any interactions with Bam Neely? I really feel bad. You guys are running this into the ground.
So, do you want to see the rib on? It's called Ribbon on the Square. You marks. I just welched you for God. How many super chats did somebody bring up Bam so far? Do we think 5 to 10? 15?
Oh, easily. We're almost at $100 tonight. Easily.
You're welcome, Raj. You're very welcome, Raj. Because if you go back and show watch, I was about to say $50 right now, Glenn. I made the entire super chat, the chat room talk about Bam Neely. Go write Bam Neely questions. Matt's gonna get pissed off. But I stopped because then they won't ask it through the super chat, and we won't get paid, or Raj won't get paid.
Is your whole life just a big work? It's
fun sometimes. That's fun. That's my favorite. That was my favorite part of wrestling, as being a heel. That's why I love being a heel.
He knows what he's doing, folks. He knows what he's doing.
Well, it's entertaining, especially when it's, no offense, a shit show. I mean, tonight's show was good, but it's, you know how it is when you do these podcasts back to back to back to back to back to back.
Oh, and we got Sunday, Jesus.
And you got to make it entertaining. I mean, you have to.
It should be a short pay-per-view at least on Sunday. They have what, 4 matches on the card?
Is it 4 even? The shit. Yeah.
Elimination Chamber seems so long. They're always like an hour long. It never really gets going until, I mean, there's like the big spot through the chamber.
Right.
Then the end. I mean,
I think the chamber matches are going to be entertaining. You have some good guys in there. It's just a matter of getting them in at the right time and the right pacing.
Is Raj going to be here Sunday? We don't know. Life's a mystery.
He will jump on if something like big happens at it.
If not, Issa, stand by. You could get that text 10 minutes before. Hey, you around to do the podcast?
I might be drunk, but I'll be
there. I got to do something, man. Okay, cool. Well, thanks again to Stereo. Go register now. Download that app.
Yes.
Tune in Monday night for the after show, as it were. You're going to steer the show. I'm not going to confront Matt. We're going to have just a love fest. The fans are going to ask questions. We'll have some spirited debates. It'll be good. It'll be a good time. It's all positive. There's enough negativity and confrontation in this world. Maybe.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm exhausted right now.
Not enough. I always choose violence.
I saw your tweets earlier and I was like, there's a lot to unpack here. We could really get into this. But hey, again, thanks to Stereo. Download the app for iOS and Android. Give a follow to NYC Demon Diva. And when she's broadcasting next, talk to her about her violent tendencies and ways and what made this all happen. And Matt Morgan and I.
Rican. It's easy.
Okay. The after show, as it were, Monday night after Raw. We want your questions. You steer the show. Stereo. Give us a follow. And Sunday night, Elimination Chamber. I think we look tired now. Wait till the end of the Elimination Chamber. I'm gonna go to bed right now and get some rest because I'm gonna need it. Thanks to everyone. Have a good weekend. Elimination Chamber predictions. Someone wants to know. I mean,
it's pretty. It's not obvious. Isa, who do you think?
I want Jey Uso to lay down for Roman Reigns, but I think it's gonna be Cesaro, and they're gonna have a really good match, right? I think Drew McIntyre retains. That's an obvious. And who else is fighting? I don't think Asuka's gonna fight Lacey Evans' unborn child, and she will win. And then I don't know who else is on the card, but Roman Reigns will stand tall and gorgeous at the end of the show, and that's all that matters.
There you have it. There you go, folks.
Shout out to Bam Neely, Brian Cyrus. Bam Neely's about as entertaining as Raw. Michael the Virus, Bam Neely for life. Everybody, have a good Friday night. Have a good weekend. We'll catch you back here Sunday on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.